2025, by which we communicated the resolution of the Senate. So we are dealing with what Senate result, Chair.
Did you read the resolution of the Senate?
The Senate did not send the resolution, but we got it from third party, and we went through it, and we saw the recommendation of the Senate pertaining the Isiolo County government.
The resolution of the Senate was to the effect that Isiolo County had been invited to appear before this committee, and they did not appear. Isiolo County had been asked to respond to the Auditor General's report, and Isiolo did not respond. The House resolved to adopt the report of the Auditor General in its entirety. That was the recommendation I took to the House, and that is what the House approved. We have therefore taken everything that the Auditor General raised here to be the truth. So in terms of response, you are supposed to respond to everything that is in here. Or Governor, is it your position that you responded when we asked you to appear before us in March?
Chair, we did two responses. First to the Auditor General's query, and the second to the resolution of the Senate.
No. We invited you to appear before this committee in March. Did you appear?
I didn't, Chair.
Sorry?
I didn't appear.
Did you send your written responses to the Senate?
Yeah, we did, Chair.
Clerk, were those responses sent?
No, Chair, on the request on the letter of 6th March, there was no responses to that. The county wrote a letter on 13th March 2025 requesting to reschedule that meeting.
For what reasons?
The governor, this kindly request that, let me read the letter. Please refer to the above matter and your letter of dated 6th March, content thereof your own. This is to kindly request that you defer the appearance of the county governor from the date of 18th March to another date convenient to the committee, since the governor is away in Mecca on holy pilgrimage in keeping with the tenets of the ongoing Ramadan. Copies of the travel documents are attached.
So the governor requested postponement because he had traveled. Was that accompanied by a response to the Auditor General's findings?
No, it didn't come to the Senate unless the auditors received.
Now, members, I think we had we had discussed all this before. The auditor had already told us. And we must agree on whether to deal with technicalities or go to this report and find out how this governor is using taxpayers' money. And I think it was a mood of this committee that we cannot spend all day on technicalities. If the Auditor General indicates that you responded to the fiduciary risk report, you responded to the wrong report. You're supposed to respond to this detailed report of the Auditor General. Members, I want to request that in the event that we agree to proceed, we deal with the issues that they've responded to, but definitely we must set a date to deal with the matters they may have omitted in that response. Now, the reason why I've said if we agree to proceed is because there's also one other matter that we must deal with. Governor, on the 21st of June 2024, the Senate wrote to you conveying the resolution of this committee to impose upon you a fine of 500,000 shillings. Has this fine been paid?
Yes, my peer has paid. I'm waiting for the banker's checks.
When was it paid?
Few minutes ago, Chair. I have to be truthful. Few minutes ago, Chair.
How long will it take for that evidence to be brought to us?
In the next few minutes, Chair.
Honorable members.
Chair, give him benefit of doubt.
Senator Ogwa?
Chair, you know, the governor said he's a truthful man. I want to believe yes. But Chair, can we settle the first issue first? You know, the governor says he sent his responses to us. We have taken the position that we have not received the responses. How do we proceed, Chair? Were the responses sent? Were they not sent? Did they disappear somewhere? What exactly happened?
Governor, you know you are on oath. You are on oath. The report that this committee took to the Senate, and I moved the motion, it was seconded by Senator Maruma. Isiolo was cited as having been contemptuous and failed to respond to our invitation. That is a position that we took to the House. Now, if you're going to assert that you responded, then we need to know where that response went.
Chair, let me withdraw my statement and go by Senate's position. Thank you, Chair.
Now, we need to get evidence of settlement of that fine because it is a showstopper. We cannot fine you, and then you walk in here without having discharged yourself from that. Now, do we agree to start looking at the issues as wait for that evidence to come?
And Chair, in addition, the fine is from the governor's pocket, not from taxpayers' pocket.
As it should be. Vice Chair?
Yeah, Chair, because the governor has indicated that he has paid and he's on oath, I don't think he's lying, so I think we'll continue.
Chair, what is the color of
Chair,
money in governor's pocket?
Standard practice right now is if you can only buy a banker's check from your account. You can't take cash to the bank for bankers.
Honorable members, can we wait and see that evidence so that we are not discussing something we
Governor, it is quite surprising because you have known about this appearance before. Your regular bank closes at 4 p.m. today. So I'm a bit worried for you because if it turns out that what you have given is not factually correct, you had time to do it. I think in high school and campus, you must have been one of those last-minute students who submit their cut minutes before the office closes. One of these fine days, Governor, you're going to find yourself in a very serious situation where the place you are taking that sleep has been closed. So I think we proceed, Chair, and then we will give him the benefit.
The first query there was one on ethnic balance requirement. I think let's shelve that for a while and go to fiscal responsibility, non-compliance with fiscal responsibility on wage bill. Read your findings. Was this responded to?
Chairman, this was responded to.
Okay, then just read your finding, then the governor will respond.
Thank you, Chair. I read the statement of receipts and payments, and as disclosed in Note 2 to the financial statements, reflects compensation of employees.
We don't have Auditor General's report. I don't know.
Lux, please make sure members have a copy of the wage report, and maybe. Vice Chair, do you have it? This page 6, 1.2, non-compliance with fiscal responsibility on wage bill. Okay, as the clerks ensure that things are in order, OIG, read your finding.
Thank you, Chair. I'm reading paragraph number 1.2. Paragraph number 1.2 is found on page 6 of the report of the Auditor General. I read the statement of receipts and payments, and as disclosed in Note 3 to the financial statements, reflects compensation of employees amount of Kenya shillings 2,082,321,741, representing 46% of the total revenue received of Kenya shillings 4,522,730,268. This was contrary to Regulation 25(1), subsection sub A and B of the Public Finance Management County Government Regulations of 2015, which states that the county government expenditure on wages and benefits for public officers should not exceed 35% of the total county revenue. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response, and tell us where it is.
Thank you, Chair. As you know, Isiolo County is
On which page?
page 2.
Page 2.
Yeah.
Of which document? Is it this small one with the table?
That one, yeah, that one, yeah.
I don't see a response to that. Huh? No, the fiscal responsibility. Non-compliance.
Non-compliance with the ethnic diversity law.
No. That one I said we shelved for now, so that we go into much more serious issues. So we are on non-compliance with fiscal responsibility on wage bill. Is there a response on that?
We responded together, Chair.
What do you mean?
We responded.
Governor, you know, you are not a visitor to these proceedings. If there's an audit issue, you respond to it directly.
Chair, what I'm saying, we responded on non-compliance of wage bill with non-compliance with ethnic diversity law together.
How does that? Those are two. Those are two laws. Those are two different laws that have been infringed. You can't have the same response. One is NCIC, the other one is County Governments Act and PFM Act that has been cited. So you are arguing that if you read this response, we will get satisfactory explanation on why your wage bill is at 46%. Can you read it? Just read it. Let him read it.
We can't read because the heading of this particular query reads non-compliance with ethnic diversity laws. So it should be limited.
Senator, he has said that when he reads it, we shall find an answer. So let him read it so that we see whether he's answering his own questions. Governor?
Yeah.
Chair, I hope, I don't know who is in charge of your report. Who prepares this for you? You know it's good you paginate a document so that it's...
My team, Chair.
Huh?
My team.
I think call them to order. You know, it's very difficult, Chair, for us to follow because the document is not paginated. Next time, ask your officers to paginate the document.
Paragraphing.
Yeah, so that we're able to follow. Because I don't know whether we're on the same page here. What I see, it's a response on non-compliance with ethnic diversity of laws.
It's actually order. Actually,
unless there's something missing from my report.
Governor insists that when he reads that response, we will get the answer. So I want him to read it.
My team are informing me that one is part of the 17 queries which has been left here.
Sorry?
So you have no response on the 47%?
It has not been responded to, Chair.
We have a problem. And I think if we go through 3-4 other issues and we find that they've not been responded to, then we'll be asking ourselves whether it's valuable for us to proceed with this meeting. Is the second one responded to? Retention of staff aged over 60 years?
Chairman is not responded to.
Governor?
Chair, it is part of the 17 which has not been responded to.
Chair, I think the guidance that was given by senior counsel might help us here now. If we identify those 17 that have not been responded to, so that we don't waste time.
What are they responding to if they have not responded to that?
You don't have page 6.
Or we get a list of the ones that they have responded to.
Page 6. Okay, so Let's proceed as follows. We went through to the section on lawfulness and effectiveness. So paragraph 1.2, no response, we must get within the next 14 days. Retention of staff aged over 60 years. Governor, was that responded to? 14 days. Overcommitment of salaries, was that responded to? Lack of HR skills inventory and succession management plans, was that responded to, Governor? Please make sure that thing is on.
No, Chair.
Payment of overtime and extraneous allowances,
It has been responded to.
it has been responded to.
Yeah.
Unlawful creation of employment positions, has that been responded to?
Yeah.
And so on those HR issues, let's start with unlawful creation of employment positions. Then we'll come back to payment of overtime and extraneous allowances. The other ones that we have put a mark on will be part of submissions that you will have to make afresh. OAG, unlawful creation of employment positions, advisors.
Okay, thank you, Chair. The question is query number 17 on unlawful creation of employment positions. That is on page 7 of the report. 171, advisors. Review of the payroll and human resource records revealed that the county executive has in position 36 advisors on multiple aspects of county management, contrary to the guideline of the Salary and Remuneration Commission circular dated 29 July 2013, which limits the maximum number of appointees to the position of the advisors to 4 individuals. There is no documentary evidence to show how the County Public Service Board, who are solely charged for the with the responsibility to establish the office for the excess 32 advisors, including submitting the proposal to the County Assembly for approval through the County Executive Committee member responsible for the County Public Service. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. The management confirms having engaged total of 4 advisors in various portfolio. Page 3, as per that small document. Page 3, excess advisors and chief officers, according to our response. Column, Are we there? Yeah. Can I go on, Chair?
Yes, proceed.
The management confirms having engaged total of 4 advisors in various portfolio, as per below table appendix 2. Appointment letters. The other 32s, Chair, are officers appointed under the County Public Service Board of Isiolo.
Where are you reading? Where are you reading? Or you're adding something that is not here?
No, I'm adding here.
You're adding?
Because I can see it is not here. But I can confirm, Chair, the other 32 officers are officers under the County Public Service Board. And we can bring the evidence in the next 14 days when we bring the response to the other 17, Chair. Chair, we have 31 chief officers.
No, that's a separate query. We'll deal with it. It's a separate query.
Well, we answered it together, Chair.
We start with advisors, we go to chief officers.
Yeah. So I can confirm here, we just have 4 advisors, Chair.
Chair. Senator, maybe before the senators come in, Auditor General, you've said that you reviewed payroll and HR records, and it revealed there were 36 advisors. Do you still maintain that position? That from payroll and HR records, there are 36 advisors?
Oh, thank you, Chair. During our audit, that is the number of advisors that we came across, and we made a comparison with the staff establishment. that required actually, under the SRC, I'm sorry, Chair, SRC circular TS CGOVT stroke 3 stroke 16 dated 29th July 2013, which provides for remuneration benefits applicable to a maximum of 4 governors
So
advisors
OAG, I
positions.
think what we just wanted to establish is that you still maintain that they have 36 advisors, because the governor is telling us that they have 4. So governor, who's not telling the truth?
Chair, I'll produce evidence showing that the 32 officers have been recruited by the County Public Service Board.
Are they advisors?
They are not advisors, yeah.
Chair, on a point
okay.
of clarity.
Senator Cherargei, then Senator Wambua.
Chair, I have gone to, you know, they say the devil is in the details. I've gone to their next chair. The governor's response, just indulge me, Appendix 2. Annex 2 talks about meals and extraneous allowances payment vouchers. Where is the annex, governor, of the appointment letters? Because it's something else.
Chair, well on it. Maybe we confirm whether when he marks, is this the one? Annex 2? Is it this one?
These are his documents.
We are struggling. We are struggling to get your.
Is it
appendix.
this one, Governor? Is this
Please guide us.
Huh?
These are your documents.
No.
Where you have indicated in your answer.
You know we are not. Chair, he says in his response that we make reference to Appendix 2.
That is what
and
I'm
asking.
Appendix 2, Senator Omogeni, talks
please.
about meals.
Governor, make our pointing us to the appendix.
Where is Appendix 2?
I know they are not annotated.
Yeah, so that we follow.
Because it talks about meals and extraneous allowances payment vouchers.
Yes.
And Governor, who prepared this documentation? Is it CCM Finance? Who prepared?
Do we have the appendix, Governor, so that we can
It's not there.
manage
It talks
time?
about meals and extraneous allowances payment vouchers, so that we become efficient.
Is it here?
And that advisors are supposed to be 4. Now for the 32, what you need to show us is documentary evidence of with the responsibility established the Office of Excellence 32 advisors, not letters. It is that evidence that the County Public Service Board created those positions and they were ratified by the Assembly. That's what we should be looking for, not letters.
Chair, before we go there,
Senator Guyo?
our representative on the ground to verify that information is Auditor General. And the Auditor General position is that the county has 36 advisors. The governor is saying he has 4. So who are we listening to before you even go to the documentary evidence?
Senator Lelegwe?
Chair, even before we go far, when I was following the governor reading on that audit query, discussing the response. And I think this committee requires us to receive written submissions. So I don't know if this committee will take oral submissions from the governor. Well, we normally require the governor to give the written submissions, because part of what is contained here is not what is submitting in his oral submission.
Chair, I had not finished. Sorry, just 30 seconds. Chair, in the industrious nature of which I am, when you look at Annex 4, the Annex 4, expiry of contract, I think they were mixed up. They are only appointment letters of chief officers. So where is the documentary tying up with what the vice and on oral submissions, since the governor has taken an oath, the oral submissions and written come together. So where is the letter of the advisors in this?
Senator Ambua, so that we now get back to substance. I know we've taken quite some time on procedure.
So, Chair, and that's actually my fear. I'm wondering whether, Chair, due respect, I'm wondering whether we will be able to engage fruitfully with the information that we have received. I'm actually wondering, Chair, whether it would not make more sense to get the governor and his team, put their responses in order, and appear before us when they are ready to engage. At this rate, Chair, there are appendices that are blank. There is nothing to it. And when you listen to what the governor is trying to say, he says he has information. No, he's trying to give us information which is not contained in the reports. And now that they have gone on record and said that they have not responded to 17 issues, which is half of the issues raised, and those issues are interlinked, Chair, I'm wondering whether it would not make more sense for us to engage when we have all the responses, and then also have the county government of Isiolo give us a document that is really a document that we can go through. This is jumbled up.
Now, let me, perhaps coming from having sat here for quite some time, this governor has chased him away several times and is happy to pay 500,000. You've seen he just paid 500,000 a few minutes ago. It sometimes, to be honest, members, it gets me to think, could this be the strategy? Not even respond fully to the issues raised. But in the process, we don't get to discuss, because it is clear that already there are 18 issues that the governor must return to respond to. But there are few things that are so glaring that it would be untidy for the governor to leave Nairobi without us having discussed them. These issues of advisors, these issues of chief officers, I know it is happening in other counties. We must deal with them, even if we are not clearing the audit issue. But I think we must deal with these things without too much regard to the procedural issues. Things like projects. We came to Isiolo to look at some projects. They're here in this report. We must be told what is happening there. So members was just asking for a blend of, we don't need to be very pure on procedure, but we must have some conversations around Isiolo. The past meetings, we have just been, we've not been dealing with these reports. I don't know whether we agree that, Senator Dulo, do we agree on that? Because procedural purity, this meeting would have been adjourned by now.
Chair, we need specifically for the benefit of Isiolo. The issues of HR, we must deal with it today because they have responded anyway. So that is my position.
Senator Sfu.
Yeah, Chair, I was struggling with the governor's response. Governor, you have told the committee that these 32 are not advisors.
Thank you, Chair. Once we do the audit, and once before we include any audit query in our reports, we have to compare quite a number of issues. One of them is the appointment letters. Two, we have to check whether there is a payment, that's the remuneration relating to the officer who has been employed by the county. So that is the area that we conclude that this is an officer working with the county government and is getting remuneration from the county government.
I've misunderstood my question. There are many, many employees of the county government of Isiolo. What is it that told you this is an advisor?
The employment letters, Chair.
Do we have any of those letters here?
I will provide one. Who are your four
Just a minute, Senator.
I think
Chair, I was just...
Order members, let's allow Senator
I was
Sifuna
just
to
trying to get to the bottom of
Unless
something.
you put that on oath.
No, just a
order,
minute.
Governor,
Chair.
I've not given you an opportunity to speak. Senator Sifuna,
Please
continue.
protect me so that I complete my...
Yes, please
train of
complete.
thought. Because you have told us that whatever happens, today we must find answers.
Correct.
So that's why I was trying to get to this particular point. Auditor General, do we have any of those letters there, or at least a name, the names of those 36 people who you identified as advisors, so that we can put it to the governor here, that those people are actually advisors? Because if it says in your employment letter that you're an advisor, then that is the position. Do you have anything, or we just go back to the governor?
Thank you, Chair. Usually when we are doing the final reports, we don't indicate the names of particular individuals, but we have an appendix when we are giving the management letters attached to our management
Excellent.
letters.
Could you share that? Because
you have it? Because it would have aware of those names from the Auditor General.
Chair, we have many officers working.
No, in that list of 36, are you aware of any 2 or 3 cases where the auditor said that this is an advisor, and you have evidence to show us that they are not advisors?
Chair, if you listen to what I said, we will bring evidence showing that those officers are working under County Public Service Board. They were never.
No, it doesn't matter who's employed.
They were never recruited as advisors. We just have 4 advisors, Chair.
So their appointment letters do not indicate that they are advisors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair.
But Senator Sifuna, how do you leave it at that point without having seen the appointment letter?
That's why I'm saying, Chair, his position, he is on oath now. He has said that none of those letters show that these people are advisors. The OAG is going to give us the evidence because they saw the letters of appointment saying these people are advisors. Once we see those letters and they say the opposite of what the governor is saying, then we can proceed to go after him for perjuring himself.
Chair, with all due respect.
Senator,
Yes, I come from this county. And I know very well the governor has taken an oath, and I will take oath also, that they have actually doctored everything.
The source of Senator Fatuma's
Governor,
allegation.
Order, Governor, order. You have said you have 4 advisors. Name them. And tell from Appendix 2, we don't have it. But you said you have something there. So tell us, who are these 4? So that we will now ask about the other 32 later. Yeah, so don't respond to the other things. Just tell us who are these 4.
Right away, Chair.
Chair, if he has letters unsolved on these 4, he can also forward to us. Yeah, let's look at the 4.
Governor, I thought you had Appendix 2 somewhere. We are the only ones who don't have it.
Chair, just chief officers.
Sorry, Governor. Governor, I didn't hear you on the last.
We have Abdi Adan Daud as an economic advisor. We have Abdi Nyabure.
As what kind of a advisor?
Abdi is economic advisor. And we have another Abdi Adan Godana as an advisor of intergovernmental affairs. Abdul Nyabure is political advisor. Abdul Nyabure, the earlier one. Josephine Eragai, that's the fourth one. No, I've said, I've mentioned 4.
Josephine is advisor on what?
I'm looking at her paper, just a minute. Just a minute. I can't remember. 4, only 4.
Yeah, the question is, what does Josephine advise on, Governor?
Just a minute, yeah.
These are people who are supposed to be known to you personally, Governor. If they are your advisors.
Advisors are personal.
Do these people work in Isiolo? Do they work for you?
So what does Josephine do?
On record.
Microphone. Josephine is advisor on agriculture livestock production.
Interesting about Josephine.
So those are the 4. So the other 32, what is your position of the other 32?
They are working under the county public service board.
As what?
As officers of different cadre, which I don't know here. Because I cannot know
Did you get the
working
management letter that listed the 36 from the Auditor General?
Yeah, Chair.
So your responsibility is to have the 36 and put another column and say this is an advisor, this one is a driver, this one is a director. That is how you discharge yourself. This is not for us to. It is not for the OAG to do that for you.
Yeah.
Chair.
I will bring evidence and the document of the same.
Chair, I'm increasingly agreeing with the Senator Wambua that the executive is not ready for this meeting. I'm even getting tired in my head because...
Chair, can I say something?
Because what we are getting really is not what we expect, Chair.
Senator...
What does Richard Chira do, Governor?
The chief officer.
The chief officer.
Of devolution.
So I can see there are 31
chief officers.
31 here.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, you have just given them 2 years contract.
Yeah.
Or are you the one doing appointment or the county public service?
I'm the one who did the appointment after competitive sourced by the county public service board.
I understand. What these 31 chief officers, are they still in office, all of them up to date?
Their contract expired on March,
yes.
And we will recruit or reappoint the same.
No. Chair, Senator Chererke, you are diverting attention.
Yeah, no, let me give guidance. There's an audit finding.
Chair, I'm looking at the names that has been given by
Senator Chererke, we have an audit finding on advisors and another one on chief officers. So we'll come to it. Now, whereas I sympathize with Senator Maruma, you see, if we don't talk about these things, if we don't expose them, then they will just be buried under procedural, directives. So I don't know what Senator Dulu wants to say, but I wanted us to, before ruling on advisors, we can now go to the question on chief officers, because the governor has given one response for both, and then see whether, with that kind of response, we can make progress. Senator Dulu.
Chair, I want to prove the governor wrong. Number one, he said he had 4 advisors. And the 4 advisors are known. Yes. Number 2, her letter is signed by the governor himself. That is number one. Now, secondly, there is another person appointed as advisor, Equalization Fund, which position does not exist at all. And that letter was signed by the county secretary, and I have an evidence. It can be verified. Now, let me conclude by saying that I agree with the auditors as Senator for Isiolo County, oversighting Isiolo County. The governor is lying on oath. Whatever position the committee is taking, that is my position. I thank you, Chair.
Order, Governor. I'll give you an opportunity. You might benefit from what...
First, we don't know the source of the document.
Order, Governor.
I will table it.
This house is house of record.
And it is a house of order.
We should not allow, Chair.
It is a house of order. You might benefit from what Senator Wambua is about to say. Senator Wambua?
Pay keen attention to this, Governor, if you will. Frankly speaking, you have 4 advisors. That's your position. And these advisors advise you. They don't advise anybody else. They advise you. So there are people that must be very close to you. You must know their names, probably even their homes. You know, these are people that advise you. You don't need somebody to give you a phone and tell you this is one of them. And these are, you don't need that. And that is my chair, and I really want to plead with Senator Dulo. I know I have been in that space. Senator, just listen to me. I've been in that space. If we want, and I know that's what we want, if we want the people of Isiolo to benefit from devolution, the way we are currently constituted, the people of Isiolo may not benefit. Because, Governor, I will put it to you, if there is an audit query on advisors, and for you it is so clear that you have only 4, and the OAG has given you 36, the most honorary thing for anyone to do, basic intelligence, would be to take my 4 and tell you their designation, they advise me on this, and the other 32 that you are saying are employees of the service board, you give the Senate a detailed account of every one of them. This is so-and-so, it's a driver, this so-and-so is a driver, this is their appointment letter, this is even their last salary that we paid them as drivers. That would have settled this matter, and the people of Isiolo would benefit. This cannot be a platform, really, where it is you said, and she is saying, and they are saying. I think, Chair, if you really allow, we can agree then this will be a preliminary engagement, then we have a proper engagement where documentation is provided and we are all seized of these matters.
I like the English you have used at the end. This, I think, will have to be a preliminary engagement because you've seen almost half of the issues have not been responded to. But what we are trying to avoid, and because of the length of time I've sat on this chair, is a situation where this team comes and we send them back, they come back, we send them back without looking at the substantive issues. May I tie this to the issue of the chief officers? Because there are 36 advisors and there are 31 chief officers, which I believe are different people. So, Auditor, what was your finding on chief officers?
Okay, thank you, Chair. That query is on query 1.72 on county chief officers and deputy county secretaries. The query goes, human resource records reveal that the county had appointed 31 county chief officers to head multiple departments instead of the 18 which were provided for in the county staff establishment of July. In the county staff establishment. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, before I respond to that.
I want you to respond first, then anything supplementary you'll say after.
Thank you, Chair. It is true Isiolo County has 31 chief officers.
Is that written anywhere?
Yeah.
Where?
The management confirms having appointed a total of 31 chief officers serving in different portfolios.
Which document?
Is that
the same document you have? Same page, where you have excess advisors and chief officers.
Yes, but you have just repeated what the Auditor General has said.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
What you should tell us is whether your staff establishment allows for 18 or it allows for 31. That is the that is a violation.
If you go to the County Government Act, Chair, it is very clear how the appointment of the chief officers are done.
No, just a minute, Governor. What does your staff...
The law does not specify the number of chief officers to be appointed, Chair, as per the County Government Act. Section 45.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is driven by your staff establishment, isn't it?
And we've changed our staff establishment to allow 31 chief officers.
At the time of audit, what was the number of chief officers as per your staff establishment at the time of audit?
I'm not aware of that, but we have a staff establishment which allows for 31 chief officers here.
Governor, you are not making our life easy. In fact, for those of us who think that we need to have these conversations to help you see the problems in Isiolo, you're not doing us a favor. The auditor says your staff establishment allows for 18 chief officers. Is that true?
Yeah. We have a staff establishment which has been approved by the County Public Service Board, the County Executive, and the County Assembly.
Can we see a
allowing 31 chief officers.
Can we see a copy of that? Is it before us?
It is not before you, Chair, but it is there.
Chair, can I ask something?
Senator Dulo.
Now, the governor confirmed that he had 31 advisors. What is your current establishment?
I don't have 31 advisors.
No,
Chair.
31 chief officers. Sorry,
Yeah.
the record, 31 chief officers. What is your current establishment since the previous chief officers, their term has come to an end?
I'll still appoint 31 chief officer. As per the County Government Act Section 45, which allows the governors to do that,
Chair,
and the County of
now, Governor,
which allows for 31 chief officers.
You do not have the luxury of bad manners in Isiolo because you're the governor. This is a constitution that guides your operations. And the constitution requires us as a Senate to confirm that the money we send to you is being used, one, lawfully, and two, effectively. A county with 10 MCAs and 36 advisors and 31 chief officers, that is madness. You can't tell us that that is justified and that you're going to do it because your staff establishment says so. That is completely out of order, completely unacceptable, Governor.
Chair.
That you cannot get away with. How many MCAs are there in Isiolo?
Chair,
let's start from there.
The Constitution does not specify the appointment of the chief officer.
And Constitution requires you to utilize public funds effectively. Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So if you have 10 MCAs, 36 advisors, 36 chief officers, surely, no wonder you are at 46% on wage roll.
Chair,
you guys are running Isiolo like a joke.
Governor, I think you need to take the guidance from the chair that allow him to answer me, Senator Dulo, please. Is that your understanding of the audit report, that the Auditor General was now saying, go and increase to 31?
No, Chair.
So that cannot be an explanation.
My explanation, Chair, is the County Government Act
I have
does
understood
not
that,
specify that.
Honorable Governor, you know I'm a lawyer.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I know what the law says. It is very condescending for you to send me to the law, and you know I'm a lawyer. So please, if you knew that the problem was this, instead of complying with your own staff establishment, because there was a thinking that went into having 18. The initial staff establishment of 18, there was a reason why they went to 18.
Yeah, the initial one was
on record.
It moves to 18. Now we have 31.
Chair,
please
allow me.
We must draw a line between serious business and jokes.
Please allow me.
And I'll soon draw that line.
Chair, please allow me.
Senator Wambua.
Before Wambua makes a conclusion.
I'm not. It's not a conclusion.
Okay, just let him go first.
It's not a conclusion.
Senator Wambua.
I just want to try and put the governor back on track. You know, this audit, and you see we are very calm. This audit is not futuristic. You know, it's not looking into the future. It's using the rear drive mirror, to look in the past. So, Governor, at the time of the audit, what was the staff establishment for chief officers in the county government at the time of the audit?
31, yeah.
At the time of the audit?
Management did not produce establishment to the auditors, but it was 31, yeah.
To that one?
Yeah.
So this that one figure is not something that you did after the audit. It was always that one. Then maybe the auditor should tell us that where they got that 18 from.
I think the auditors have said it is a matter of fact. Auditor, can you tell us where the 18 came from?
It's the staff establishment, Chair.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying we must distinguish between jokes and serious business. And I'm seeing that jokes are getting into the handset. The auditor...
Because the governor was on record and was responding to my question, let me also register my dissatisfaction with that response, because Governor, you said, respectively, that you moved from 18 to 31, but then, wait.
Not 18, Chair. In 2014, there was an establishment of 14. In 2019, it was changed to 18. In 2023, we changed it to 31.
And that's what I'm saying, that at the time of the audit, the auditors say it was at 18. You're saying it was at 31. Okay, well, all we need to do is get...
You see, in answer to that question which I asked earlier, the governor said he didn't know. All he knows is that now it's 31. And that's why I'm saying we need to be more serious, Governor. In fact, without evidence of those staff establishments in 13, in 17 or 19 and 23, we engaged in stories ajaba. We are not doing serious business here.
What I wanted to say.
Senator Dulo, Senator Chirarke.
Now, the 31, their contract expired on the 15th of March. Currently, worse of 31, they have 5 chief officers. 5. My question is, who is handling the docket of those chief officers who have left? Because if he says the law allows him to recruit as many numbers as he wants, 5 to deal with all the departments for the purpose of accountability, who is handling their budget as far as accountability is concerned? Number 2, Chair, the law is very clear that the county has a county public service board. What is happening in Isiolo? There are letters of appointment issued by the county secretary of Isiolo County. Where does that apply? Those are the issues I wanted to raise.
Yeah, can I ask a few questions so that we make progress?
Okay, then yes, the governor will respond to both.
Governor, you have argued that there is a justification, such a legal justification. Can you pinpoint us, because under the County Government's Government Act, of course you have the power to appoint the chief officers after vetting by the County Public Service Board. Number 2, Chair, Governor, have you ever sat with your officers with the Office of the Auditor General, especially during entry and exit and management meetings, so that you can appraise? And then, Governor, I'm curious. For example, you have a chief officer in charge of fisheries department. I don't think whether it is relevant in Isiolo. Are there fish and fisheries in Isiolo? Of course, is it relevant? I wish, and that is why we are talking about staff establishment. I'm just using a justification. I'm imagining a governor in Homa Bay will need a chief officer of fishery department, but Isiolo will need more of livestock production, because that is where you go. So, by the fact that you are being told reduce your chief officers to 18 chief officers, there was a reason to that effect. So my question is, why didn't you measure some of these departments to ensure efficiency? Because you could have done livestock production, fisheries, and blue economy or something like that, climate change. I've seen, Chair, some of chief officers even are doing functions that belong to the national government. So I don't think it is efficient, Governor. So on those three questions, and finally, Governor, chief officers under the county governments act are the accounting officers. Who is doing the approvals and requisitions to control our budget? Because you say by March they are gone. So who will we hail as accounting officers as per the law? Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. It is true the term of the previous chief officer's office expired in March, and we renewed 5 of them. Five of them are the ones who are holding those positions and acting for the officers which the other chief officers have not been reappointed or recruited. I want to confirm here, we are in the process of either reappointing the earlier one or recruiting new one. Chair, I can reduce my chief officers to 10. What I wanted to come out clear here, the County Government Act does not constrain me to 18 chief officers, as what the Senator of Isiolo was saying. The Act is very clear, and it is the law, and I was following the law.
No, I'm on record. I have never said anywhere here. Can you withdraw that? Because I didn't say that. That is the record of the auditors.
When you
order
the word liar,
Governor,
I will
lie to the committee.
You are the liar. You are
Governor,
you are a pathological liar.
Governor, Governor, you are getting out of order. You are getting out of order. I don't think you came to Nairobi for a shouting match, and we have been extremely patient. The chair has been extremely patient to allow us to have a conversation that can help the people of Isiolo. Let us not reduce it to a personal exchange. Whereas you say the law does not specify the number of chief officers, why is it that Isiolo has just 9 CCs while other counties have 10? Because it's specified in law, isn't it?
In the Constitution.
And
to have
it is
a third of the members of the county assembly.
Correct.
And we have obliged
just let me guide you. Because the same principle that has capped the number of CCs in proportion to the size of your assembly is the same principle that would apply even when it comes to chief officers. There is a principle, and even if it is not stated in black and white that you should have 10 chief officers, you know, one day you'll wake up and you'll have 100 chief officers. Is that effective utilization of public resources? It is our job that even if you did things in accordance with a gap in law, but we must ask whether it is effective. It sounds wrong for a county like Isiolo with 10 MCAs and 9 CECs to have 36 advisors and 31 chief officers. That is not effective use of public resources. And you see, you have not provided any evidence to confirm that you have complied with your own laws in Isiolo. You have not presented to us the staff establishment. You have not presented to us the schedule of the 32, whom you are saying are not advisors. So we cannot arrive at any other conclusion. In fact, it now gets me to the point of asking whether we should proceed if these 2 issues have been responded to in this manner. There could be one or two other issues, perhaps relating to projects, that we might want to have a preliminary conversation on, so that when you now do your substantive response, you are guided on how to deal with the matters. But on the first 2 issues that we have tested, you have not responded in any manner that is satisfactory to this committee. The appendices are not there. The evidence of the law is not there. And that is why now I cannot avoid taking the documents tabled by Senator Dulo, because you have not presented your own evidence. So, members, I'm informed by the clerk that the payment has been received.
Yes, Chairman. The office of the clerk has received the banker's check. They are in the process of doing an acknowledgement letter to the county.
Okay, fine. So that can allow us to proceed with some...
Actually, to the governor, because that money has been paid by the governor, not the county.
Yeah.
Chair, before you close the two issues of advisors and chief officers,
Senator Chiraga.
Maybe, in the words of Senator Wambua, that this is preliminary, it is important that you give a ruling of the committee that what should follow, because so that we don't leave it open-ended. Because if we need further evidence of the advisors that have been appointed, and my opinion, Chair, is that they must be verified by the Office of the Auditor General, so that when the governor will give evidence of the 4 advisors, let it go to the OAG, be authenticated by the OAG, and the 5. And Governor, how can 5 chief officers act on behalf of 31? Don't you think it's too much? And do they do all the requisitions in terms of the spending by those departments? Is it efficient? And how long will you take to appoint the new chief officers?
It is not efficient.
You know, just a minute. Yeah. You know, your question would imply that 31 is the ideal number that they should have.
No,
it is clearly excessive.
You know, Chair. I was just doing the math here.
Yes.
I'm right, Governor. On these people, salary comes to about plus allowances 255,000 a month, and then they are entitled to a medical cover and retirement benefits. If you do 255,000 times 31 people, the county of Isiolo is spending upwards of 8 million shillings, if my math is correct, every month on chief officers, Governor. How does that sit as something that is right in a county such as yours? And we've visited. We know the problems that are in Isiolo. That is money that could have been put to the people. You are standing by your that you need the people of Isiolo need these people.
Chair, on the part of wage bill, I'll agree with Senator Sifuna. It is not effective and it is not efficient. We can reduce it, but in terms of law, we have complied with the law.
No. You have not provided the evidence. You have not provided your staff establishment.
Yeah.
Which law?
County Government Act.
No.
Section 45.
No, Governor, you are not.
Have the county attorney.
There is something, Chair, I thought maybe we should.
Senator Gataya?
No, Chair, we have not concluded on the issue of the advisors because we have 3 schools of thoughts. We have the auditor's report which has not been verified. He has not produced any evidence to that effect that he has seen letters of appointment. We have the report from the governor who says there are 4. We don't have. So I think this matter, Chair, should maybe penned for another day. It's something that we should maybe. We have nothing before.
You are totally right, Senator. You are totally right. You know, we are engaging a lot of speculative conversation, but it's also helping us to understand the situation in this county. Because when the Auditor General talked of a staff establishment of 18, and Auditor General, I don't know whether you've got a copy of that staff establishment. It sounds reasonable when you consider that Isiolo is restricted to 9 CCs. Is it 6? Actually 6 CCs, plus the deputy governor and the governor. So you are 8 members of the county executive committee. When you had 18, that sounded like 2 accounting officers under a CC. Now, when you are at 31, you have a disaster where every CC has got 5 accounting officers. That's madness. That does not fit anywhere in any school of leadership or management. It can't be. And if it is not in law, we shall put it in law. But whether it is in law or not, it is not effective. It is wasteful. So Senator Gataya, we are not concluding these matters. We are not clearing them.
You know,
I think that's a preliminary conversation to give guidance to the governor.
Chair, there is a... there is a...
Sorry.
Chair, there is something that has now got me worried, Governor. If indeed, when the Auditor General raised the question of the staff establishment, he went and changed the staff establishment. I am very worried about the answer you gave on these advisors. Because if that was a trend, it is very possible that the documentation of the redesignation of these people also happened. If it did, it is best that it comes from you, that at no point these people were ever employed as advisors. Because if it turns out that there was a redesignation, just the way you dealt with the question of staff establishment,
It has.
then we're going to have a problem.
Chair, when I was in Nairobi, we had 21 chief officers.
Oh, I'm
because
talking about
because the staff established by then was 18. When the new administration came in, they changed the staff establishment to 36. Now we have 36 chief officers. And there was no law which was.
You cannot compare Nairobi with.
What I'm saying, we did not change the staff establishment after the audit.
Governor, just understand the question that I have asked you.
I've understood you very clearly.
It's okay. You can change the staff establishment.
Yeah.
That is not in dispute.
And it is not illegal.
No, we are not disputing that. I am saying, is it possible? Is it possible? It's a yes or no. Is it possible that you dealt with the question of advisors the same way you dealt with the question of...
No, Chair. No, Chair.
Okay.
Chair.
Senator Lelego?
Chair, I'm just saying, why are we treating Isiolo County as a special county? In this committee before, when a county does not table evidence or responses, then the meeting ends there. And we are proceeding with our meeting when we don't have any of the responses by the county government. So I think, Chair, we should adjourn this meeting because there's nothing we are doing.
That is the third senator of the view. Senator Wambua talked of a preliminary conversation. And I think that is what we'll call this, because it must go out to the public and on record that the Senate is of the view that this is wasteful expenditure, but we will still have to provide the evidence to confirm that it didn't break the law. But this is not effective. Now, I wanted to, members, I just wanted us to look at one other issue and see, yes, I'll give you a chance, and see whether it would be possible to follow through the records or the evidence presented by the governor to support that matter. If we find that the next issue is still unsupported and the governor is just repeating what the Auditor General has said, then we will direct that instead of responding to 18 issues, you must respond to all the 35 original issues in the next 14 days.
Chair, let me say on record and actually follow through what Senator Sifuna has said. And I'm saying it on record for Isiolo people, that those 36 advisors, their positions have been redesignated. They have changed the staff establishment, and that has been done after the auditors had come up with a query, and after they also appeared before the committee of Senator Chute. Thank you.
Now, I'm looking at the clerk's letter on the payment of the fine. I think, clerk, you must redo this because this letter cannot be addressed to the county secretary. The governor was fined in his personal capacity. Yeah, so this letter says, we acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 19th of May on the above subject matter and a banker's check in favor of Senate from Cooperative Bank of Kenya. So we'll need to confirm that that check number 80474 did not come from the county government of Isiolo. Governor, was that check from the county government or it was a personal check?
It was a personal check.
So clerks, I think for neatness, I don't think we should be addressing the county secretary because it would look like the money came from the county. You can rectify that. Can we look at the spatial plan?
Now, before spatial plan, there was issue of 2 deputy county secretaries. And Chair, finally, you were directed at the Office of the Auditor General. If in their management they have attached appendixes of the names of these officers, is it now good that they table and also the governor to clear the air on the 2 deputy county secretaries? Is it true or not, so that you make a ruling on the entire matter?
Governor, you have 2 deputy county secretaries?
Yeah.
Is it in line with your staff establishment?
Yeah.
And can we have a copy of the staff establishment?
I'll bring it.
Because without that, then we'll be engaged in speculative talk.
I think also,
Senator Maru,
for the auditor, you need also to give us all the names and the remuneration of the advisors. Because then if the management is saying they have 4 advisors and we are saying they are 36, then we also need to know how much they are earning. They must have been earning the same salary, all of them, so that then you can, and if you have letters of appointment that made you conclude that they're advisors, please give them to us so that we can make conclusions.
Okay. Clerks, we must write to SRC. We need to have a conversation with them on this matter of chief officers. They have given out a circular on advisors. We must cost them to do another circular on chief officers. A county with 6 CCs and 31 chief officers is unreasonable.
Chairman, we have taken note of the request of the committee and we'll give that information in the earliest opportunity, hopefully by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Could we just look at this one on spatial plan? I see there was a response by the county, and establish whether we have sufficient evidence to deal with the matter. If we don't, then we might be forced to adjourn. Irregularities in the award of contract for the development of Isiolo County Spatial Plan. It involves about 98 million Kenya shillings.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, read your finding.
Yeah, I'm reading the query on irregularities in the award of contract for the development of Isiolo County Spatial Plan. It goes this way. Note A to the financial statements reflect Kenya shillings 702,259,516 in respect to the acquisition of assets. Included in this was Kenya shillings 24,119,480, which was spent on research studies, project preparation, design and supervision, which further included Kenya shillings 19,694,480, which was made to a company for Isiolo County Spatial, Physical and Land Use Development Plan 2023 to 2033, whose contracted sum was Kenya shillings 98,472,400. However, the following anomalies were noted. The first one, the county executive awarded the tender to a company at a contract sum of Kenya shillings 98,472,400 instead of the lowest bidder who had quoted Kenya shillings 62,173,448. This was contrary to Section 86(1) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, which states that the successful tenderer shall be the one who meets any one of the criteria specified in the tender document. Secondly, the lowest bidder was disqualified during the financial evaluation on the grounds that their quotation was abnormally low and would potentially fail to deliver the contract as per Section 27 of the Act. Thirdly, the county executive failed to follow the required procedure outlined in the tender document of seeking written clarification from the bidder, including a detailed price analysis of the bid in relation to the contract scope, delivery schedule, allocation of the risks, and other requests for proposal requirements. No evidence was provided to confirm that the county executive determined the bidder's inability to deliver the contract at the quoted price. In the circumstances, the management was in breach of the law. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may read your response.
CCM Finance will do it.
Thank you, Chair. The management confirms procuring consultancy services for physical and land use development plan awarded to the evaluated bidder at the cost of 98,472,400. The management felt that seeking clarification was not necessary pursuant to Section 81(2) of Public Procurement and Disposal Act 2015, which states clarification shall not change the terms of the tender as the quoted price were too low compared to sector technical advised estimate. The sector advice was thorough analysis of the project scope, material, labor, and other relevant factors. The county executive wishes to confirm that departmental estimates for preparation of county spatial plan were 106 million. Attached Annex 5 is an extract of the CIDP 2023-2024 for Isiolo County on the costing of the development plan. The concept note for the county special plan is the basis for scope of work and policy framework for preparation of the plan. Attached is the concept note Annex 5.2. In the light of the above, Howard's Humphrey Consulting Engineers quoted a figure way lower than budgets, and in the interest of achieving the quality of work expected, they were dropped in favor of Design Works Limited, who are within the range.
Auditor General, what is your response to that statement by management?
Thank you, Chair. We, as an office, we were unable actually to confirm the reason which was given was not justifiable as to why the lowest bidder was not awarded the contract, and also the reason why we were not gotten the reason, convincing reason as to why the lowest bidder was disqualified during the evaluation on the grounds that the quotation was abnormally low. So no evidence was provided to confirm that the county executive determined the bidder's inability to deliver the contract at the quoted price.
Did you see a copy of the sector technical advice? Was that presented to you?
No, Chair. We haven't received that one, Chair.
Governor, you have cited the sector technical advice or estimate. Where is it? Where is it in our files? You have only put a one-pager, something you're calling CIDP extract. We can't tell what it is. Because a budget is a guide. A budget can be a ceiling. So the fact that you had a budget of 106 million does not mean that you must spend 106 million. Is that sector technical advice with us? Is it in our files? Because it is the foundation of your argument here. Is it in our files? Senator Sifuna, it is obviously not here.
Chair, as a response, I would want to know how much had this lowest bidder quoted?
62 million. 62 million, the lowest bidder.
Okay.
To be specific, it's 62,173,448.
You thought that was too low?
Yes, compared to the estimate, the cost was estimated by the department.
So you added 36 million. You prefer to pay 36 million more?
The project estimates by the department was 106.
No, that's a budget. I've told you how, you know how budgets work. It does not mean that if you have a budget of 106, you must spend 106. Everyone wants to make a saving.
And Chair, is it not entirely possible, Governor, that you can make estimates in one month and maybe in another year because of technological advancements that make their work easier? Somebody can give you something that is way lower than what you thought it would cost. What would have been the harm of giving these people a try so that you save the people of Isiolo 40 million Kenya shillings?
Chair, it's not the budget. The costing was done by the...
That's what I'm saying. Maybe these people have tools that you people are not aware of. They are making use of technology that exists somewhere that you have never heard of.
GIS, artificial intelligence, and all that.
Yeah.
How can you just stick, if your estimates say they will use the walking style? You know how we used to measure the size of land, Chair? Tembea mpaka pale alafu rudi.
Maybe rope and a stick.
Yeah. A rope and a stick.
Yeah, Chair, you know the estimate was done by specialists from the department.
Officer who gave the technical advice here.
Just give us the sector technical advice that you have referred to here.
Chief of Salan will give it.
Where is it? Where is it in our files? I'm seeing here concept note. I want to see the advice that you got because I want to know who signed it.
Breakdown of the budget estimates for the costing.
My friend, have you read this response?
Yes.
Have you read it?
I've read.
The price was too low compared to sector technical advice. Give us that sector technical advice that you're referring to. I don't want to hear your stories. I am sure that advice was put on paper and signed by somebody. That is the person we want. We want to know who is this who's happy to spend 36 million more in Isiolo. Is that advice in our file?
Chair, I think if you can check on the response, it's not budgeted, but you can check the costing done.
Sector technical advice, my friend. That is what you have read here. That is what we want to see.
Or is it given by word of mouth?
What is that thing you're reading, boss? What is it?
Chair, it's written breakdown of budget estimates.
That is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the sector technical advice that told you that this guy is so low, he's not going to deliver. Let's spend 36 million more. That's what we are looking for.
Chair, this is a hostile witness. Can he take an oath?
He's not hostile, he doesn't understand.
Yes, so that you know he is misleading the committee.
I think we are joking too much with public
The
resources.
committee is becoming hostile.
We want to know who did it. There must be professional advice by a procurement officer.
Yes.
That person has no business being a member of the Institute of Supply Chain. That's why I want to see that sector advice. Who gave it? Who gave that advice that you spend 36 million more?
There must have been technical evaluation of the two companies done by the sector or the procurement department.
Yeah, because surely people bidding to do jobs in county governments, this is unheard of that someone was dropped because it was too low. You know, this is strange. So I want to see that advice and I want to see who gave that advice.
Honorable
Do you
Chair.
have it?
Honorable Chair, the breakdown for that
But it can't be
technical
from him.
advice is not attached here. What we have attached is the estimates.
So it is not here. Then you are wasting our time. What
It's
what
not
else are
here,
you telling
Chair.
us which is of because even if whether you tell us budgets or whatever, that's neither here nor there. The decision that triggered the dismissal of the lowest bidder.
That should be the
Chair,
technical
do you also have the evaluation report of the two bidders? Because then you must have evaluated them and maybe even done due diligence on the lowest bidder to establish that the lowest bidder would fail because he had failed in other instances. That's what we need to see. The evaluation report. Do you have it?
And you know, Chair,
Just listen to my question. Do you have the evaluation report?
Chair, with your permission, I don't have them here, but I can assure you I could provide.
oh my goodness. Chair,
Senator Ambo,
you know, Governor, you've made reference to some advice. And that advice is the one that made you go for a guy charging you 98 million as opposed to one charging you 62 million. And the question that the Senate is asking is a very simple question. Where is that advice? Unless you're saying you met someone on the street and they told you, no, don't spend 62, that's too low, spend 98. And unless it's just a conversation that happened. Where is that? You've made reference to the advice yourself. It's not from us. It's your document. And you're saying, let us see that advice, so that maybe we may say you're not the problem.
Chair, I think you are whipping the wrong person. Because he's the head of that department.
He's the one who brought himself there.
There must be a technical person who advised accordingly.
what do you do in the county? What do you do in the county?
Chair, I'm the chief officer in charge of lands and fiscal planning.
But your contract expired in March. What are you doing in office?
Through the chair, it was renewed.
Where is the evidence to that effect?
Chairman,
I can provide to you.
Just allow me one thing. Yeah? You know, even that document he was referring to, if we went with you line by line on that document, my brother, you would get the point that we are making. I can see here, for instance, you have in that breakdown of budget estimates, you have put aside 4 million shillings for a lodge by the governor. if somebody like that bidder came and told you we don't need to launch this thing and spend 4 million of taxpayers' money on a launch, it would reduce your budget by 4 million. If the bidder had told you on this draft plan preparation that you don't need 20 million to prepare a draft capital investment plan or review and comment on the stakeholder engagement forums or training of county staff, if he told you they would do cheaper or they would take a less amount of money to do that, how can you come and tell them that this doesn't accord with our estimates? That's the point that I was making to you. So there is a question that the chair put to you, Governor, that I think it was the vice chair, that in the evaluation of those two bidders, if that was before us, then we would see what are the shortfalls or shortcomings of the bidders' bid when it comes to these specific activities, you know?
We'll provide the evaluation report here from the technical committee here, who evaluated the project.
Vice Chair?
For me, lastly, you are supposed to advise the lowest bidder that they did not succeed in their bid and the reasons why. Did you write to the lowest bidder, informing them that they have failed in their bid? Because that is the law.
Governor?
Chair, we have not written to him as confirmed by the response. Clarification from the...
Was it clarification or notification?
Come again?
Did you get the question asked by the Vice Chair?
Yes.
Can you respond to it?
Through the chair, we responded that since we found the lowest bidder had a more lower price, that we saw as a department that it will affect the quality of work, so we didn't write to him.
When you notify somebody that they have lost the bid, how would you compromise the quality of work?
We responded to him that he didn't win the award.
Are you the one who gave this technical advice?
No.
Who gave it?
The technical committee, evaluation committee.
Headed by?
The procurement officer.
And their decision is done in writing?
Yes.
And that's what we'll... Is that person here? Head of procurement. Who's the head of procurement in this team?
Where are the minutes when you discussed all these things?
Actually, that's a question we want to
Where
put to
are the minutes where you discussed all these things? And
through the chair, we will provide.
No.
Then what have you responded if you don't have the minutes?
You see, they are trying to run away saying they'll respond, but surely, Governor, how do you, this is unheard of, how do you just dismiss someone and say that it's too cheap without any technical basis, without any assessment on record? Because that's what I'm asking for. Give us that technical assessment that you did that made you spend 36 million shillings more. So that gentleman there with the microphone, who are you and what do you do in the county?
Can I read what is here? Do you know what is here?
Yes, it's your name and what you do.
You know, sorry.
No, I know you are, that response is crazy. I'm sure you have seen what we have seen. And okay, what is it? What's banning Senator Omogeni before that gentleman speaks? Senator Omogeni.
You know, Chair, I'm just wondering, you know, if you read paragraph 5, and I want to understand the legal basis, the response says that the management failed, that seeking clarification was not necessary. I mean, are we serious, really? Is this account that is serious? You are telling you just have feelings, and when you have feelings, you make a decision.
So it appears the gentleman with the microphone could be that person who used his feelings.
You just used feelings. You're saying we failed.
No.
Can you tell us why you decided to spend 36 million more?
Again, the feelings are only left for love matters, not financial matters.
No, I'm actually shocked that a document like this can be tendered before a serious committee like this. No, when you are telling us that you failed, I mean, how
okay, Mr. Feelings, the floor is yours now. Are you the one who advised the county to spend 36 million more?
The chair, the evaluation was done, and the department from the lands and provided the guidance and why they have felt that amount couldn't sufficiently meet.
Who advised, lands or procurement?
Lands, because it's the technical.
So Chief Officer Lands, Chief Officer Lands, you are here.
They had already
Procurement is saying you are the one who said you spent 36 million more.
The technical team had already prepared their own budget and made quantifications as to why that one was very low and it was based.
Mr. Their name is? Stephen. The governor refers to a sector technical advice or estimate. Who prepared it?
The technical staff in the lands department.
So it's the lands guys who decided we spent 36 million
They
more.
made a meeting and they made a...
How did they decide that? Is there a document? Are there minutes? Is there a report?
Yeah, they had a budget and some other documents.
Leave alone the budget. Is there a report that they wrote that led to the disqualification of the lowest bidder?
There was a report that gave a large figure.
It's not the issue of budgets.
You are not getting it. You are not getting it. Honorable members.
No, Chair, just allow me this. Chair, allow me this. Governor, initially I'd said we may not need to have this engagement. Ultimately, we have had preliminary conversations, and we are where we are. What bothers me a lot, Governor, is this. But I don't see you being annoyed with your staff for such a shoddy job. In fact, let me just be honest with you, Governor. If I was not complicit, if I were you and I'm not complicit in these arrangements, then I would declare in public for the people of Isiolo to know that I have such an incompetent, clueless team working for the county government of Isiolo. Why do I say this? I say this because the questions being raised here, Governor, are very simple and straightforward questions that your staff would just have helped you to respond to these questions. And you know what, Governor? You are not an angel. Human beings make mistakes. Even admit on record that, yes, on this one, guys, I got it wrong. And I'm willing to learn. But pushing back and insisting on pushing agenda that really, actually it makes you, the governor, look extremely, extremely bad in the eyes of the public. I don't know whether that bothers you, it doesn't bother you, but straightforward questions that just need straightforward answers. You are taking everybody around in circles. Chair, maybe the last one from me for the procurement person. Where are you? Yes, Steve. After you got the budget, did you shelve the PPDA law? Because anymore. Is that what you're saying you do in Isiolo County?
No, but a technical team or a technical advice is what gives an advice to the committee that is evaluating. It's the same as an engineer estimate that gives, this is the precise that can undertake this obligation, this excess.
I think you're answering a different question. Members had proposed that we look at this particular matter and see whether it is possible for us to make progress, and see whether the evidence provided can be useful. The evidence we have asked for is not there. Everything we are asking for, they are saying they can provide. If going by the other two issues that we have dealt with, and the fact that 18 issues are not being responded to, I think I'm convinced that we must adjourn this meeting to allow the county government time to deal properly with the issues before us. Come here so that the auditor can also guide you on the documentation at the Office of the Auditor General, not the fiduciary risk report. Beside this, there's also the receiver of revenue report. So at our next meeting, we will have to start with this from scratch, because even the three issues that you have dealt with, you have promised to bring documents later. Bring them at that meeting. We'll also look at the receiver of revenue report, because otherwise, I will have to take the evidence coming from Senator Dulo, and it is not her duty to be presenting evidence here. It is your duty as a governor. So, members, do we have any view contrary to that?
I hope they can paginate. You know, it's been very hard for us to follow their response. So I hope you can assign somebody to do a clean job, paginate, so that we are able to follow.
Yeah, and surely with 31 chief officers, you must find one who can do some good job.
You know, Isiolo chair has very educated people like Senator Fatuma Dulo. So she'll be able to, once you cite a document, put an annexure so that you can follow through.
Senator Dulo, you wanted to say something? Senator Chirage?
Chair, I think at least taking advantage of institutional memory, I really wanted us to proceed with Isiolo. Because every time they come, we have adjourned on one reason or the other. But it looks like we could not shoot in the dark. So, Chairman, I think what we can say at this point, and maybe the governor will tell us that I had asked a question, but Chair, you did direct for him to answer that. Who prepared this documentation? Because before he signs the management response, there is an officer or a team of officers that had been dedicated to prepare. Because if we could not trace the answers and the annexures were not going together. So what assurity are we getting that even if we adjourn for the next 14 days or 7 days, what surety will be sure that when he comes back, the documentation and results will be in order? I think the chair, the best is, I don't know, the governor is a man of means. We should say if he comes back the way the documentations are, he should be fined another 500,000. Or we go quickly and pass Senator Otsotzi's bill and raise that 500,000 to 2 million Kenya shillings, Mr. Chairman. Because governor should give us surety that by the time you come back, governor, you at least give us everything in order. Because the reason we sat and sift through chair, through governor, through the chair, is as much as we are morticians. Because we look at what has happened, we must give value for the people of Isiolo. And I think you and Senator and the people of Isiolo and Kenyans would really want to see every shilling that is taken to Isiolo gets value for the money. And I think that all of us in this room agree, including the fourth arm of government, which is the fourth estate, they agree that all the money that go to Isiolo must be that. So, and that is why even as I can see there is delayment in disbursement of treasury of 74.8 billion Kenya shillings that is yet to be disbursed to counties. So as we go back tomorrow, Chair, and demand that the National Treasury releases for the 3 months 74.8 billion to counties, we need governor to see that value for money. You know you are number 46 in terms of shareable revenue. I think you are 46, and then Lamu, and then Samburu, and then Elgeyo Marakwet. So decisions that you make, governor, must, and I have a lot of expectations from your government because you are in Nairobi. At least you knew how government should run. At least you have benefit of seeing Mabarabara ya Gorofa in Nairobi. I would have expected the same to be translated in Isiolo. So please, governor, through the chair, let us see value for money that comes to Isiolo. So that at least when we sit here, if you had given us everything, I don't think we would have taken 30 minutes or even 1 hour, and we are able to conclude. So I think that is what I can say. It is sad to say I was ready to sit up to midnight, but unfortunately, I would have ready to sit at midnight. Then as we go back home, we could meet with wale wanakimbia usiku. But anyway, let me end it.
Okay, members, I don't think we need to extend it much further. Maybe, Governor, you just need to give us an undertaking that you are going to whip your officers and your team so that at our next meeting we can make fast progress, because a lot of these things we have taken time because you are describing evidence that is not before us. If evidence is before us, it makes matters easy and fast. So go on record on your assurance for the next meeting.
Thank you, Chair. I want to assure the committee in the next meeting will produce all evidence and all the pages will be paginated. And I want to put a request, Chair. The next meeting should be held in Isiolo so that we can also go through the project which you are asking this. Chair.
The last time you were there, you disappeared. So
but Chair, we have been there.
How sure we will be there?
You will be around. We missed you.
I'm requesting.
Oh, you are requesting.
Okay,
and I'll foot the bill, not the county personally.
No. We have our budget. We have our budget. Senator.
Chair, just one comment I forgot before you give to the area senator. Governor, don't fear to rain hard on your workers, people who work for you. Please. Governor, have you been roasted by your employees? Then you just crack the whip. I expect the county secretary after this. I've seen a number of senior officers that must be given letters and administration after. But ile kazi ingine unafanya vizuri. Asante sana.
No, I think don't talk about kazi ingine. Ile kazi imetuleta hapa ni hii. Na hii haijafanyika vizuri. Senator Adulo.
Thank you, Chair. I think I don't want to say much. You've heard what transpired. I do fight in the Senate always with you guys as far as increase of budget is concerned. When I came to the Senate, we were at the bottom of even Lamu. That was 2013 as far as shareable revenue is concerned. Today, we have actually surpassed Lamu and Elgeyo Marakwet. Yeah? You can say no, but we have that record, Governor. So that is for another day. But let me say this. What is happening in Isiolo is that the law is not followed. Procedures are not followed. Chair, can you protect me? I have a right to say what
Governor,
I want to say.
We have had a very good meeting, so let's make sure we end it well. Senator Dulo, proceed.
Chair, I have all the reason why I'm saying this. For HR, the law is not followed, and I can give you evidence where your county secretary signs letters of appointment, which by law is not allowed. Is the County Public Service Board should do that. I have an evidence to that. So let me go to HR, Chair. When they appear next time, they should provide the record that was there when the auditors carried out the audits. And also the record that they have currently after they have changed staff establishment for verification. But otherwise, I say thank you so much. Exchanging abusive language here, it doesn't help. I do my part, you do your part. But the bottom line is that we must account for every penny that goes to Isiolo County. And that is my work. I will do it at any cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. On the request you have made to the governor, auditor, please also make sure you come with your management letter every time we have a session. Because when you say you established a fact during audit, we trust you to present those facts to us. So I think that one is yours. That's not for the governor. It's for you to tell us this is a fact we found on the ground so that the governor can confirm. Governor, we will not be tired of dealing with these Isiolo matters. audit can have two results. One result is to punish violators of the law, but another result is to improve. And we'll follow both approaches. If there are violators, if there are people who have made decisions that have led to loss of public resources, we will go after them. But we'll also ensure that whenever you come to Nairobi, you benefit from something, from the collective experience and knowledge of these senators, the OAG, and the clerks of the Senate. So we will not be tired. The next time we are having this meeting, we'll start early in the morning, and even if it takes a full day, we must go through each and every issue raised by the Auditor General on Isiolo. And now that you've confirmed that we will not disappear again, it would also be worth considering coming to Isiolo. But we shall, the clerk will send a letter indicating the date of our next meeting. I want to encourage you to have a meeting with the Auditor General with a view to tying up the records so that we can have a useful meeting here in Nairobi. This meeting is adjourned. The Senate committee meets tomorrow at 9:30 to consider the Auditor General's report on Samburu County. Thank you.